As you see, I've just uploaded a video in Italian about all these last videos by Luca Lampariello concerning criticism, how to deal it, and I think that is completely his reply is out of place the way I see it. I don't upload videos. Sorry for my long pauses. I don't upload videos with the truth or how I learned Greek. First of all, because he hasn't learned Greek, so second thing, that the truth, I mean, come on, you have the truth or he has the truth. Nobody has the truth. The truth is something you strive for, but the moment you upload a video, unless there's something that you know about something, a conversation, okay, somebody said, what did you say to him? I say the truth about that. It's not an opinion, it's a matter of fact, assuming the person is honest and tells the truth. But having said that, his argumentations are quite, from one point of view, they are evident, self-evident, and doesn't mean he's wrong, but he's not telling anything new, what we say old news or platitudes. He says that we use two sides of the brain when we can use one side or the other side of the brain when we learn foreign languages. And then he says, but if you're an adult and you study, or you learn, better said, learn or absorb certain languages, grammar is not a bad thing. And I'm using Asimil Turkish, and there's a grammar side. At the grammar recap. It's a long word. Every 7 lessons, and I use it. But I'll tell you that having the right material, having images, having something that is quite having a lot of material structured in a meaningful way with pictures, you can even skip grammar. That means that we use grammar when we don't have a better solution. But we could skip grammar assuming we have the right material, even for difficult languages. I'll tell you something. The thing that is underneath all this, those reasoning by linguists, and you should streamline and learn faster your language. And I know I'm getting out on a limb here, but my idea is completely different. I mean, I'm not harping on the usual things. If you listen to what Camparello says, and I have a huge experience in learning and teaching languages. First of all, sometimes he contradicts itself. He speaks about left, right wing part of the brain, and then he has a whole conference speaking about translation system. And I use that in a way. Having Asimil in a way is based on that. But I use the first part to help me out. Is always my reasoning is for lack of a better solution. The better solution should be a book based on pictures, better said, or software, whatever you want, a series of pictures with images and situation. If it is a video with movement, is better. What is the best way to explain running? Show somebody who runs. If you start from singular short cells, even a language that has a different structure like Turkish, I'm sure giving the right amount of material, and that it should be done by people who knows their ropes, you could skip grammar. Or better said, there's not a clear-cut difference between explaining grammar and skipping grammar. If you I give you a lot of examples, not spread out in many sentences, but in a way I make more sentences where I present you a structure, and usually I'm focusing on a grammatical structure. I'm teaching you grammar. What is the difference between I listen and I learn grammar? Because it's more focused. It's proposed to you in a way that gives you all the basic ingredients to put together, and you should make an effort. A lot of information, a lot of effort. You will learn, will absorb the rule in a subconscious, becomes conscious. Okay, so you think about it. Oh, okay, I do that. But it will take longer. That's the point. All the shortcuts, most of them, that won't be like 100%. They also have space for doubt. I always have space for doubt. And how do I come to a better solution? Confronting my opinion with other people's opinion, many points of view, not Lampariello points of view. I think the problem is many viewers take for granted that it's right, or like the golden standard. No. Here's a normal person, and the Greek video showed all the all the shortcomings, and everybody has. But my point is, the higher you are, or the people think you are, the less acceptable they are. When you have a channel with a lot of subscribers, and you speak in conferences and in formal situations, you should be something on a very high level. And very high level is a level where you don't only propose your method, you absorb what other people have been doing, the most modern theories, and your personal experience. But my difference is that my personal experience is teaching to normal people. That means people who are not highly motivated, people who are not in the polyglot circle and ambience. So I think I can express some different opinions, but I can substantiate them. That's what I see. Many times it speaks, it gives you an opinion, it gives you an aura of science, but it's not really there. There are other people who are much more on the spot, and surely he knows a lot. I don't say he's always wrong or is just, there is a kernel, a core of, yes, that's right. But my point is, anyone dealing on a certain level with languages could have said that. I mean, I repeat, I harp on the same thing. Most of the things he says are platitudes. What do we call in Italian aria fritta, or ha inventato la ruota? He's following me. He knows what I am speaking about. My point of view, my starting point is, I'm not a linguist. I don't want to be a hyper polyglot. I just speak fluently. It's 3. I speak 3 languages fluently. That means Italian, English, and Greek. That's why I commented on Greek. I cannot give any comment on, and I can tell if he speaks good French because I used to speak French well, and I can, for some reason, his way of speaking English, I know, there's something that, but that's a personal point of view, in the accent that I don't like. I don't say it's not a good accent. I can even dislike native speakers' languages, but that's a personal thing. I have a different approach to languages. I think that sometimes it's focused on perfect accent and other things, and that you can attain a certain level being constantly exposed to the language and having a mind like subconsciously you need to really want to have a better accent, and you get it. The moment your brain thinks it is not important, you stop. That's my experience. I don't know how it happens, what is psychological, neurological process of that, but your opinion about the language, for example, I have a single opinion. My opinion is that you should have a good accent. Okay? A good accent is an accent who is not far musically from the original language. Obviously, you have all the basic sounds and you pronounce them well. Or you can have slight differences, but not significant. But perfect accent, when you don't speak a perfect language, it's not good. Okay? There is a saying in English, live well enough alone. And sorry if I'm digressing, or because this speech is off the top of my head. So my opinion is that most of language learners, maybe not those who watch Lampariello, but most of language learners are people who do not want to have a perfect accent, do not want to be on a very high level, or want to be on a middle of the way level. Okay? And that is the gap. Most linguists or people who speak about languages are either they're high with Lampariello and others, or very, very, very simple things, very stupid and suggestions There are many people who teach languages they don't know, or they give they teach the verb to be. Come on. Using for the most time. You should avoid them. But having been a language teacher for many years, I saw in real life the real problems of the common language learner. Because it seems to me that there is a lot of people who are on this level and very few people are here who are here. There's no, I mean, there are people who are in the middle, but these are people who are going fast, they're high. So there are not many people who are in the middle, which is the way I think, where most people should be. I'll give an example. Most people drive. I don't drive anymore, but most people drive. Most people who drive don't want to be professional pilots, but they should be able to drive in different weather conditions, and they should know how to use the brake in certain conditions, know what is important for them, okay? The same thing should go for languages, because not everybody thinks that the more languages you learn, the better you are, the best. If you speak very well, you are a whiz, a genius, or no, come on. And they should be given the right information about how to go about learning a foreign language. But this information should not be too much, okay? This in English, that's too much information. Basic information, and it's very easy to motivate people who are already motivated. It's very easy to help people who strive for perfection. It's a little more difficult to help people who need the language. And okay, so my point is, I will say that, but I repeat myself, take your bloody time. If you are not hard pressed, and that's the point, start as soon as possible. Don't procrastinate, and give yourself a lot of time. Well, giving yourself a lot of time doesn't mean do not practice, listen to the language or whatever. It means sometimes you should listen and listen and listen and forge ahead very slowly. I don't say everybody should do that. It's my different point of view. I've been doing this. I've learned my languages in Greek. After 3 months, I couldn't speak as Lampariello, but in the long run, much better. So sure, I don't learn many languages. The streamline method has the pros and the cons, and nobody speak about the cons. The cons is that many times, as fast as you learn, so fast you forget. All these methods this mnemotechnique are useful when you have to retrieve information in certain situations. You have the time. Speaking is not retrieving information, so mnemotechnique are very good if you want to know when somebody was born, when somebody died, what he has been doing, and capitals and colors of the flags. It works perfectly. For languages, doesn't work perfectly. My understanding, I repeat, I'm not telling you the truth. I'm telling you my truth. That could be even the truth or much more closer to reality. But I'm not telling you like I know everything. But another point of view is always useful. And my point of view is that we have to remember, we have to forget, and we have to remember, and we have to forget many, many, many times. In the long run, this method at the beginning seems not productive, not cost effective, because we live in a society that is fast paced. Everything needs, okay, it's not comparable to our capitalistic neoliberalistic society. Everything has to need to have an effect. It's more like putting cheese in cellars or wine in barrels. It takes time to age. So my understanding, I'm learning, for example, assimil, and I see the other people do assimil in we always say so do Italian. Finish, go over the method in 3 and 6 months. Tell you the truth, you cannot absorb assimil, really absorb, in less than 1 year. You learn the language. I mean, I'm sure that after 6 months, maybe the very good linguists that use all these methods will speak almost like you in a year. But the problem is how long this language will stay in your mind. Less. It's less those guitars or those electric guitars that at the beginning they don't seem very different, but the component of the cheaper guitar components start deteriorating much faster, because the guitar was built in less time. The same thing, a guitar that has been built with people checking, double checking, and sounds better and lasts longer. So when you learn a language, what is the so-called secret? Learn few languages. You will learn less languages, and maybe you will not look like I am a linguist, a polyglot. He speaks that, and so that, and that. Fuck. Showboating. And that is something I say, not my point of view. This I'm very sure of. Fuck learning languages for the hell of it. Fuck it. Learn languages for yourself. Okay? Learn languages that you like the process of learning. Languages you like, where languages of countries that you like, where you would like to live for a while, whose music you like, whose attitude you like. I mean, whose way of life you like, because they go hand in hand. Otherwise, it's a mere intellectual process. Okay? So when I learn Greek, I know that I like Greek music. Recently, I don't like Greek politics because they seem that with Turkey It's a long story. I've been receiving a lot of flake on the Greek side. But anyway, that's another story. If you like the language and you do your method very slowly, you buy your Asimil, you buy even, or you find recordings of Asimil, and you follow the method. I know Asimil is not 100% the way it should. There's very little material for certain languages, and you have to make do with what you have. But I tell you that where's a will, there's a way. I learned Greek when there was no internet, no radio. I didn't have access to anything. First of all, I learned my first 2 books by heart. I made all the exercise. I didn't make. I did. I didn't make the exercise. I did. It's a difference. It means I didn't invent the exercise. I solved the exercise. So anyway, sorry. Sometimes I make mistakes. What I mean, I learned by heart with all the mistakes, and I had more or less another pronunciation. I is pronounced A, epsilon iota is pronounced E. Okay, but I liked the whole soundscape, if I can use this word. I mean, I like they speak about a painting, but you need to watch the painting, and you need to listen to the language. But when I came back from I was a soldier for 1 year, military service, I paid some Greek to speak to me. And I recorded the time there were, this is not a real cassette, but it's a case, but there were cassettes. I use cassettes. And I remember, funny enough, I have the Oscar Wilde an Oscar Wilde book with fairy tales translated into Greek, a real Greek book, and I retranslated. I put all notes aside and I listened to. Then I was in university at the university, and most of other students with me were actually Greeks, so I started speaking Greek on a regular basis. I never spoke Italian to a Greek person unless mucate di stombuzzo, unless I can't stand the person. And I made it. Was the best way? No, it was not the best way. But in the long run, I started with grammar. I learned all the grammar and the verbs. I can conjugate the verbs. Declination of, because in Greek there is a declination of words. That is not so difficult as in ancient Greek, but there is. And in the long run, I was very good. In only 4 years, I was very fluent, very, very fluent. So what was the key? I wanted to learn it. I used all the material I had, and I didn't skip anything. Those books are tattered. It was 1985. I had time. I was a soldier. You say you have time? Yes. In Italy at that time, we have the late afternoon to evening libera uscita. We could go out, and there was some downtime there. And I always read my book, like I'm using now. All my downtime, or on the bus, on whatever, I have my Turkish book. And when I came back, I paid people to speak to me in Greek, and I always thought, and that's a big mistake. Other people, aialli canone. At the beginning, don't overestimate. I have to speak. No. Absorb, and it will be easy for you to speak when you have been listening to a lot of the language. Okay, don't jump the gun. So my idea is, don't have very, very, very high expectations, because you should devote a lot of time, and many people are perfectly comfortable with a good level of the language. I don't say speak badly, but good level, which means you are fluent. You're not a native speaker. For the most part, you don't need to. I mean, you're not a spy. You're not a speaker for the television, and basically, once you pronounce quite well, most of the people who speak a foreign language are not perfect, so you can live with that. If you want to be perfect, you need also the motivation to be perfect. Most people don't have the motivation. So if you don't have the right motivation, you like to be perfect, okay, I will never be perfect. Okay? We have to live with our motivations. I like to be younger, I like to be taller, I like to be more handsome, but I am what I am. Okay? So when you learn a foreign language, try to be good, but you know that you cannot be perfect. I know when I play guitar, I started too late. I don't have a real teacher. I can do my best, but I live with the fact that I will never be Eric Clapton or even an advanced player, but I can sing well, I can carry a tune, and okay, I speak also other foreign languages, I do several things. So the important thing is to keep your expectation in touch with what you can really do. I don't say don't speak perfectly. If you want to speak perfectly, maybe you should follow also what Lampariello says and other people say, okay? Because if you want to be perfect in a very short of time, you have to be fixated with that. You need to be in a way almost anxious and paranoid about languages, or extremely one-track mind, let's say in English. Otherwise, you should take your time, buy your good books. There are other than Asimil other books with audio part. I don't say I know Asimil. I don't say buy Asimil. That's my truth. I will learn Greek. I barely say how I learned Greek. I always say how I learned the Greek I can't speak. Because it's never over, the process of learning a language. I even learn words in Italian and in English that I think I know. So my point of view will be one thing I'm sure of. If you have a lot of likes, a lot of people that agree with you immediately, you're not saying anything new. Everything new that you say should meet with bad reactions. Sounds strange. Yes, it is like this. What I'm saying is not mainstream. Everybody says speak, do this, learn fast, the secrets, the I don't give you any secrets. Most of the time, you need to be curious. You need to be a lot of things, and you need to understand who's telling truth or who's showboating and boasting. And okay, I'm sure I can make mistakes. Even when I speak English, everybody makes mistakes. I can make mistakes in what I'm saying. Some of the things I'm saying maybe are not true, but everything I say is something I deeply believe, and just I'm not saying that to please anyone. My video is very simple. I don't have all this paraphernalia that other people say. hello, I'm Luca Campanello, and da 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 da. He starts, and then he starts says his name. That's stereotypes. I don't like them. I like I think I will not. I will not have a lot of views. I'm not earning money. I can live with that, but I think that my point of view will be interesting because it's my point of view, and I have this point of view not just for the hell of it. Just it's the result of many years of teaching and many years of learning, absorbing languages, and at the same time I do other things. I play music, you see, I have instruments, and I'm interested in other things that collide with languages. I use my languages also to watch movies in English, to watch documentaries in English, to watch documentaries in Greek. Sometimes a movie you cannot find in English. The movie was in English, but you find an Italian or Greek version of this movie with Greek subtitles or dubbed. They don't dub in Greek, but they dub into Italian and Turkish. In time, I will also use Turkish. I'm at the beginning of Turkish, but the fact that I'm learning language reminded me of all the process I've been through in the past concerning Greek. Now I take it for granted, but I almost forget how much time I put into learning Greek. Now I'm perfectly alright with the Greek. I know maybe I'm losing some Greek. Okay, I know. I'm watching videos in order not to forget, but I decided to learn another language that, for that matter, I gave an examination. I took an examination in 1987, Turkish language, but I forgot everything, almost. Anyway, that's a long-winded video, but I needed to say that because I felt that there is something a little bit deeper, a little bit more different than what most linguists say. Okay, and then I am not always coming up with a video, always to come up with a video every. No. And the fact that I'm saying this in English, it's because really I like speaking in English, not because I think there would be more people watching it. Maybe in 5 years' time. 5 years time. Yes, maybe in 5 year time, I will say that in Turkish.